All right, well, we're a little late to the party on getting the video started. Doing some Memphis style ribs here, which is kind of a non-traditional method of cooking that a co-worker showed me. I didn't even know until, what, I'm 41 now, until a couple months ago that these even existed. But it's basically more of a dry rub type of rib that you don't wrap like you do a traditional rib halfway through. So we took St. Louis style cuts, trimmed it up, trimmed all the fat up, removed the membrane on the back side, added some all-purpose seasoning, salt, pepper, garlic, let that sit in for about 15 minutes. That allows the meat to swell a little bit. And we added some of this Killer Hogs beef barbecue rub. This meat has been on, it did about an hour and a half, and then I added a little baste here. This baste, it's real simple. I don't like to make it too rich and sloppy and all that. It's just apple cider mint vinegar mixed with a little bit of olive oil, and then I added a little bit of this rub in there. So I did about an hour and a half. I basted it. It's been another hour and a half. I'm going to baste it again just to help keep it from drying out too much. We're doing it at about 250 or so. So let's see what we're looking at. They actually don't look like they need really any basting. They're still holding their moisture. Real nice. But just for flavor, I'll add just a little more. Makes them nice and pretty. We're getting that real dark color on it. That's just kind of a signature trademark of the all-purpose rub I put on there. There we go. We've been 3 hours total at 250. I find normally at about the 4.5 hour mark these things are ready. So this is probably the last basting we will do. What you want to see, and at the 4.5 hour mark I'll do a test here, or I'll do a pull test, and I'll just kind of pick the ribs up, see if they act like they want to split apart. We don't want fall off the bone ribs. That's kind of a myth out there. As far as, oh, we want the ribs to just fall off. Well, you want them close to it, but you still want to have a little bite when you take a bite of these ribs. So we'll go another hour and a half, and then we'll take a look and see what we're looking at. Yep, there's a nice cut of St. Louis ribs right there. All right, so we're at about the 4.5 hour mark or so. They should be done, but you know, every batch is a little different. We'll open this up. They definitely have that dark texture. You can see a little bubbling going on. What I like to do is just pull up and see if they have any pull. See how they want to break apart? So if I were to pull up any more, they would just split. So they're done. So I'm going to shut this off. Just let it rest for about 20 or 30 minutes, and then we'll eat. All right, well, it's been about 30-40 minutes. We had a little bit of a downpour that came through and kind of sidetracked things a little bit. Where we're gonna eat at the table. What I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna open up the lid here. I'm gonna split the rib in half, and I'll cut up the portion for Josie. So you can see how I cut it up and everything. They came out a little dark, so I will call myself out on probably putting a little too much rub on there. It's still very tender inside. Many people like this when it gets to be this dark. I don't though. But let's go ahead and knife is very sharp. You can see it has a very nice smoke right there though. The meat inside is very tender and it's still very moist. So it's gonna come out as a nice rack of ribs. This is what you gotta do for the Memphis style. Alright? It's like putting candy on the top at the last minute. You just add one last little layer of rub. Just like that. And that makes all the difference. I ate at a place called Rendezvous in Memphis when I was on an overnight at work, and I thought they were crazy for doing it. It's literally the greatest thing ever. It's making it a little bit tough to cut. Like, you know what? Let's do this. Let's come over to her plate. I don't know why I was doing it that way. The rain kind of threw me out of whack a little bit. I don't like when it pulls off the top like that, but give it some nice solid cuts. There we go. That's what we're looking for right there. pieces of rib for each one of you. There we go. And you know what? If you want to record me cutting the other one, that's fine. I'll be right back. Because this is the better side of the rack here. Y'all are going to have to fight over who eats the better side. See how easily it cuts, and this is a lousy knife. The only reason I turn it upside down is because it helps me see where the ribs are to cut through. And that's a nice little piece right there. Take a view of that. Again, you got the nice smoke ring, tender meat, a little rub on top. We'll flip it over. When I ate at that place in Memphis, they did it on paper plates as well, and that's always the best kind. And that's it.